So he's a man. He probably would say June or July. I would say we had a tough conversation in August. And so that men in relationships at the end of physical intimacy, women in relationships when that tough conversation takes place.
And where, when did he come to, I guess the condo, I'm not sure what you called it, condo apartment, would he come and stay at that condo or visit you there? I'm sorry, visit you there.
What condo, what apartment? I want to be clear.
So not your house. I know you classified one as house and one as condo, so I'm trying to use those terms.
So but there's been more see, what you don't understand is because of this case, I got to move. And so I
Ms.
need
Merchant,
to,
if you could ask a more precise question.
yes, please, give me the time period. that we're
Mr.
talking
Wade
about.
visited you at the place you laid your head.
When?
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this, let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here? I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth.
Judge,
and it is a lie. It is a lie.
Ms. Willis?
You see.
Mr. Sena, thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes. Be back in 5.
I'm in a bind, Nate. It was all cash, right?
The testimony of one witness is enough to prove a fact.
So my
Are you
question was,
telling
do
me
you
that
have
I'm
any
lying to you?
proof?
Is that what you're intimating right here?
I'm asking if you have any proof that you paid him any of these
The
monies.
proof is what I just told you.
You have no written proof. Is that correct?
So I have some, probably some transactions like in Belize. I probably spent $500 on my card in Belize. I spent I can't remember, $900 on each of our tickets to go to Belize. I did the $700. I probably got some minor expenses in Aruba that would be on a card. But for the most part, for those trips, other than, so the 2 cruises, I gave him money for those before we ever left.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
See what I'm saying?
I thought.
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
Because they were pre-booked. Let me answer.
Well, the question was if you had any written proof. And so
I've answered you that I've had written
we
proof.
can move to the next question. If you've answered if you had any written proof, and that was my question.
I want to make sure that we're clear that for the 2 cruises,
Judge,
and that's
I
the
asked if
cruise
she gave
plus
him written
Aruba.
proof.
We're not going to talk over each other. Ms. Merchant, she answered your question, so we can ask the next question. Ms. Willis, Ms. Cross will have plenty of opportunities to let you clarify your answers when it's her turn.
Thank you, Judge. Knowing your role as district attorney, you know that public funds are scrutinized and money is scrutinized and things like that. You understand.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You understand you're under a microscope. You have reporting requirements, all of those types of things. You have no record other than your testimony of the money that you've given Mr. Wade.
You've already asked that question. Let's keep going.
When you took office, you had a tax lien of $4,600. Did you pay that with cash when you made that tax lien whole?
I probably paid through however you pay.
Okay. So, but you were saying that you had amounts of cash. You still had that lien in 2022 when you were dating Wade and going on these trips. So the cash that you gave him, that could have been used to pay this tax lien off?
You gonna tell me how to pay my bills?
Object. This is not relevant.
I'm in a bind, Nate. So in 2023, December, you said you didn't have any receipts.
I do not have any receipts. I did not have any receipts.
But you did travel with Miss Willis in 2023, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2022, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2021, correct?
No.
So you only traveled with her in 2022 and 2023?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
That's what you recall?
Yes.
Okay. So you just don't remember if you traveled with her in 2021?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
Is what you recall. My question is, did you travel with her in 2021?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So it's not yes or no, you just don't remember?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So you did not travel with her in 2021?
Your Honor. This has been covered. Let's keep going.
Thank you. Let's see. You filed an affidavit in this case, correct?
I did.
Okay, and I marked that already. I gave it to the state as number 1. So that's exhibit number 1. May I approach, Judge?
You may.
Thank you. In that affidavit, you swore under oath, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And in that affidavit, you swore that, well, first of all, do you recognize the affidavit?
I do.
Okay. Did you sign the affidavit under oath?
I did.
And you gave this affidavit specifically to refute the allegations that I had raised?
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody forced you to sign this?
No, ma'am.
You chose to sign it?
I did.
And you signed it on purpose to admit into court to
I did.
refute allegations?
I did.
You signed it specifically to prove that you were not in a relationship with Willis prior to November 2021, correct?
Correct.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
See what I'm saying?
No, I thought.
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
I booked lots of cabins.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
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 No.
You've never gone to a cabin with Miss Willis?
No.
Have you ever gone to Tennessee with Miss Willis?
Yes.
Okay. When was that?
That was around 2022, early 2022.
Early 2022? Okay.
It was a day trip.
Okay, so you didn't spend the night?
So it was a day trip.
Okay.
We would drive there, have lunch, drive back. The reason we would do that is because the attention, she couldn't get any peace of mind going locally, so we'd get in my car and drive to someplace off the beaten path and have lunch and drive back.
Is that when you went to Feigning Goat with her? It's in Jasper, Georgia.
No, that's in Georgia. I don't recall going to Fani Goat with her.
So the Tennessee day trips were only Tennessee?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever do these day trips in Georgia?
Do we drive anywhere in Georgia?
Yeah, you were
course.
talking about day trips
we
going
drove-
out, and I'm talking about outside of the metro area. Day trips that you were just talking about. These trips you were talking about. The ones that you were, I'm only asking about the ones you were just talking about. Are all of those in Tennessee?
No, we drove to Alabama before.
Okay.
Back.
You drove to Alabama? Did you go anywhere in Georgia? North Georgia?
No, I'm going to object. If he wants to direct his attention in some way to a time frame or a location, then
You can't just be exploring around indefinitely.
Is it fair to say that you've taken so many trips with her you don't even really remember all the places you've gone?
So many trips.
You're having trouble remembering going if you went to North Georgia or not.
Were you asking me about specific places? And I want to be candid in my responses, so I have to jog my memory because these are places that I have frequented, but not with her. So I want to make certain that if there was ever a time that she accompanied me, that I was candid in that response.
Aruba, October 2022. And I've got business record certificate for these. Judge might be a little faster. But did you take a trip with her to Aruba in 2022?
Yes, ma'am. So that Aruba trip there was a package deal there. My mother had recently retired, and I decided to take my mother on a cruise.
Okay.
And the second leg after the cruise concluded, D.A. Willis and I went to Aruba. So that was all one trip, if you will.
Okay, so my question was, did you go with DA Willis to Aruba in 2022?
I did.
Thank you. And you paid for that trip using your business credit card, correct?
I did.
Okay. And you paid for a cruise as well, correct?
That's the cruise I was referencing with DA Willis, my mother, and myself.
Okay, and because there's two cruises, so let's just talk about the first one.
Okay.
So the first one was that's the one with your mother.
Yes.
And so you introduced DA Willis to your mother. That trip, you all took a cruise together, the three of you.
Yes.
After the cruise was done, you and DA Willis flew to Aruba together, and your mom flew home.
Yes.
And you paid for all of this with your credit card, on your business credit card.
I did.
And are you saying that Ms. Willis paid you cash back for that?
She did.
It was 12:15 exact. If I'm not mistaken, it was
Now
12.
you see something. Now you see now. You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
See
said,
what I'm saying?
I thought.
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
Now to our other major headline tonight, the developments in the Georgia election interference case against former President Donald Trump and the embattled Fulton County District Attorney prosecuting that case, Fani Willis. Trump's legal team presenting new phone records casting doubt on Willis's testimony about a relationship she had with the man she appointed special prosecutor to investigate Trump. His name, Nathan Wade. The Trump team had asked the judge to disqualify Willis from the case. They say she appointed Wade because the two were romantically involved and that Willis benefited financially from her then-boyfriend's appointment through vacations they say he took her on. In the contentious hearing last week, both Willis and Wade took the stand vehemently denying all of those allegations. They say their relationship did not start until after his appointment in November of 2021 and that they split the cost of almost all of their trips together. Wade did say he visited Willis at her home before his appointment, but that it was not very often.
Do you think prior to November 1st of 2021, you were at the condo more than 10 times?
No, sir.
So it'd be less than 10 times?
Yes, sir.
So if phone records were to reflect that you were making phone calls from the same location as the condo before November 1st of 2021, and it was on multiple occasions, the phone records would be wrong?
If phone records reflected that, yes, sir.
They'd be wrong.
They'd be wrong.
But a new court filing showing analysis of cell phone data from Wade's phone allegedly demonstrates that he visited Willis at her home at least 35 times in the months before his appointment and in the weeks immediately after. Willis also addressed when their romantic relationship began directly. Here's that portion of her testimony.
I'm asking you whether or not prior to November 1st of 2021, there was a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade. That's very simple. It's either a yes or a no.
I don't consider my relationship with him to be romantic before that.
But those records presented by the Trump team allegedly show that on multiple occasions in that period, Wade arrived late at night and stayed into the early morning hours. I want to bring in NBC News legal analyst Angela Sanadella to break down all of these developments. So, Angela, let's just start with sort of the obvious question. Went through all of it. It sounds like this is a pretty big deal. How damning are these records? Do they actually prove definitively that he was there prior to the dates that he previously acknowledged?
So I wouldn't say they definitively prove, but that's not the burden that the judge has to decide. It's not definitively. It's just a question of their credibility. And really at this point, whether or not they lied on that stand. So I think it seeds enormous doubt that this relationship started after she appointed him. I think it's pretty clear from this evidence that she appointed him prior to their relationship. Sorry, the relationship started prior. But the biggest issue is that they presented in an affidavit, in a reply, and under oath, they testified to the fact in front of the court at the point at which this relationship started. So really their issue is if they lied to the court at all. They didn't necessarily even have to say that earlier. They didn't have to try to prove when the relationship started. They could have just focused on the financial aspect. They did not. They affirmatively put forth these clear definitions, these statements to the court. And if the judge decides that they were lying, that as officers of the court they lied, that's hugely problematic.
So what would be your legal advice if you were working with and or representing both Nathan Wade and also Fani Willis? How would you say they should move on from this?
So there's a lot of options. First, they can argue that this shouldn't even be admitted as evidence, that it's an invasion of privacy, and the judge hasn't even decided yet whether or not to admit this as part of the evidentiary hearing. We will likely see that next week. Also, Fani Willis, when she was on the stand, said that they did have some sort of a relationship. They were friends. In fact, he was her mentor. So she could likely double down on that and say that they did have these late night conversations, these late night visits, but they were not explicitly romantic. And so at that point, perhaps the defense can't really prove further whether or not it was romantic. Nobody was in those conversations or in the room with them. So lastly, I think, though, they would redirect back to the financial issue. The reason why there's any possible conflict of interest is if she conferred a financial benefit. And she, on that stand, I thought last week, did a great job claiming she did not at all, that she paid cash. She paid her way. So focusing back on that could be helpful.
And when she was on the stand, too, she also made a clear point of saying none of this is really even about me. Let's listen to some of what she had to say.
You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
I mean, multiple things can be true at once, right? She is not on trial, technically speaking, but does this cause significant damage to her credibility, not just in this case with the former president, but moving forward?
It causes huge damage, I think almost irreparable damage any way the judge rules. Because let's say the judge does decide these records are enough to disqualify them from the case. Obviously, that is horrible for her. Now, on the other side, if the judge does not admit this into evidence or for some reason decides it doesn't really affect their credibility, the juror pool out there is watching. And at the point at which the jury starts to doubt your credibility, doubt everything you would say on that stand or in front of them, trying to convince them of an argument, you've already lost your case.
How long do you think it will take the judge to decide whether or not these records can be admitted?
Well, March 1st will be the closing argument. So at that point, we will likely hear both sides do a summary. And then the judge can either decide before that or after. And then he can give a decision within the week or within a couple weeks. So we never know.
All right, well, we will be watching. Angela Cianella, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
A lot of shit pissed me off. Like, we got Fani and Nate running around here, flying there, going on cruises and stuff. You know, just enjoying all the fruits of their labor, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a little problem. This relationship is only 2 years, if that. You know, they want to say it's really a year and a half, and they're going on cruises. She's meeting the mom. He's getting divorced. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on within a small period of time that you say that it wasn't that important, and you know, you guys were good, close friends, and you guys never decided to take it any further. Y'all had deep conversations and deep discussions and back and forths about, you know, power dynamics and stuff like that. Just, it's a lot though, but within a year and a half, you go on 2 cruises. You go to Belize. You go to Ecuador or something like that. You go to the Bahamas. You go all kind of places. And then you got time to drive to Alabama, drive to Tennessee. You drive it everywhere. I mean, you know, the YouTube cops is going to do their thing and be like, damn, y'all got a whole lot of time to vacation. I thought y'all was handling, you know, cases. You know what I'm saying? I thought y'all was in court. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got a whole lot of lunch dates and shit like that, meeting up at all kind of reckless ass times of night. Y'all got a lot going on, you know what I'm saying? For this to be a year and a half, 2-year relationship, y'all done went on all kind of hiatuses, you know what I'm saying? So it's up to Trump's attorney and Trump's team to throw this case out, and get this case tossed out of here. It's crazy that Fanny and Nate is just running around the country enjoying themselves. Nobody seemed to take a picture of these guys. I mean, of these people when they were together. Like nobody, nobody seemed to notice that one of the top DA in Georgia, the lady and her coworker are going on hiatuses. Nobody tried to put one and one together. Nobody said, "Oh shit, he's gonna make if he stands to do this case, he's making what triple what he's made." You know, it's just a crazy scene, and it's something to watch. It's very juicy. Sounds like some Ricky Lake shit. Yeah, this is a whole story. What was it, soap opera? This shit a whole soap opera. Like, damn, what y'all was. Let's get to the bottom of this. Y'all was real busy for this to be a year and a half, 2 year relationship. From what y'all say, it really was a year and a half because you divorced your wife right after you got the job. It's it's juicy, man. That shit is crazy. That don't make no sense to for Fanny to be mad at them for looking up all what they could look up. They gonna try to find anything, any phone records. They gonna try to find pictures, old pictures together. You better not have nothing on Facebook. You better not have nothing because you're trying to go and ruin Trump's reputation for voter fraud, and you think they're not gonna try to just get the whole case thrown out in any type of way, anything to get the case thrown out, you know what I'm saying, or ruin your credibility um, in the jury eyes or anybody eyes, you know what I'm saying, even the judge eyes, shit, for real. But it is what it is. Signs acceptance. We ain't have it. Like, comment, subscribe.